The diplomat's blood. The Vexori arrived on a Tuesday. Their massive ship appeared without warning, settling into orbit around Earth like a predator sizing up its prey. Humanity's early warning systems barely registered the vessel before it was already there, a dark, segmented leviathan against the backdrop of stars. It was 3 times the size of our largest space station, its outer hull covered in chitinous plates that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. First contact came 6 hours later. The Vexori transmitted a message directly to the United Earth Government headquarters in Geneva, bypassing all security protocols as if they were nothing more than cobwebs. Their message was simple: we come to negotiate terms. No introduction, no explanation of who they were or where they came from. Just those 6 words, transmitted in perfect English. The Security Council debated for all of 20 minutes before agreeing to send a diplomatic team to meet with the aliens. 12 of Earth's finest diplomats, linguists, and scientists were selected, representatives of a unified human race ready to take its place among the stars. Captain Miranda Chen watched from the bridge of the UES Vigilant as the shuttle carrying those 12 brave souls docked with the Vexori vessel. As head of the military escort, her orders were clear: maintain position, monitor communications, and be prepared to extract the diplomatic team if necessary. Docking complete, reported Lieutenant Wong from the tactical station. The team is being received. Miranda nodded, trying to ignore the knot in her stomach. Something about this felt wrong. The Vexori had appeared too suddenly, their technology too advanced. And there was something in their transmitted messages, a cold precision that set her teeth on edge. Keep all systems at ready, she ordered. I want immediate extraction capability. Communications from inside the alien ship came through in fragments. The diplomats reported being led through winding corridors with walls that seemed to pulse with an inner light. The air was breathable, but carried a metallic tang that made their throats dry. The Vexori themselves were tall, spindly creatures with 4 arms and skin like polished obsidian. They moved with an unsettling grace, their multiple joints bending in ways that seemed impossible. 2 hours into the meeting, the transmission stopped. Get them back, Miranda ordered, the knot in her stomach tightening. Now. For 3 agonizing minutes, the communications team tried every frequency. Nothing. Then, without warning, a single video feed activated. The image showed the conference room where the negotiations were taking place. 12 human bodies lay scattered across a long table, their blood pooling beneath them. Standing among them were 3 Vexori, their elongated limbs dripping with red. One of them looked directly into the camera, its multifaceted eyes reflecting the light like black diamonds. Insufficient, it said, the word somehow forming without lips or a mouth. Your species is insufficient. The feed cut off. Miranda's shock lasted exactly 5 seconds before training kicked in. Battle stations. All hands prepare for emergency maneuvers. The Vigilant barely managed to evade the energy beam that lanced out from the Vexori ship, the massive discharge missing them by mere kilometers. As they executed emergency protocols and retreated from orbit, Miranda watched the alien vessel begin to move toward Earth. Within hours, the news of the diplomatic massacre spread across the planet. 12 humans, dead, murdered during peace negotiations. The footage, gruesome as it was, had been broadcast globally. There was no hiding what had happened, no spinning this into anything other than what it was, an act of war. The next 48 hours were chaos. The Vexori ship maintained its position, but made no further hostile actions. Instead, it transmitted a simple demand to Earth's leaders: unconditional surrender and the handover of all technologies and resources. In emergency sessions across the globe, Earth's nations united as never before. Old enemies became allies, petty differences set aside in the face of an existential threat. And in the midst of this newfound unity, a plan began to form. Dr. Sanjay Kapoor, head of the Global Defense Initiative's Research Division, was the first to notice something peculiar about the Vexori ship. It's the radiation signature, he explained during the crisis meeting at GDI headquarters. Their vessel emits almost no gamma radiation, but there are massive spikes in the delta wave spectrum whenever they use their weapon systems. Miranda, now recalled from the Vigilant to advise on military strategy, leaned forward. What does that tell us? It tells us, Dr. Kapoor said, a glint in his eye, that their technology has a very specific vulnerability. They've evolved their systems to be highly sensitive to certain energy frequencies. It's how they achieve such remarkable efficiency. But it also means we can blind them. Miranda finished, the realization dawning. Or worse. Project Sunfall was born that day, while Earth's military forces mobilized, preparing for what might be their last stand. Scientists and engineers worked around the clock to develop a weapon that could target the Vexori's specific vulnerability. The aliens seemed content to wait, perhaps confident in their technological superiority, or simply gathering data on human responses. Either way, their patience gave humanity the precious time it needed. 3 days after the massacre, 3 more Vexori ships arrived in the solar system. They positioned themselves around Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, claiming territory without firing a shot. Reconnaissance drones sent back images of the aliens beginning mining operations, harvesting resources from our system with mechanical efficiency. 7 days after the massacre, the first prototype of the Sunfall device was ready for testing. It's crude, Dr. Kapoor admitted as Miranda inspected the device, a modified satellite that looked like little more than a dish with extra attachments. But the principle is sound. It will generate a concentrated burst of gamma radiation, specifically modulated to disrupt their energy systems. And if it works? Miranda asked. The scientist's expression hardened. Then we build more. A lot more. The test exceeded all expectations. When activated near one of the Vexori mining vessels orbiting Mars, the Sunfall device caused immediate and catastrophic systems failures. The alien ship didn't just shut down, it convulsed, its outer hull cracking open as internal systems overloaded. Earth had its weapon. Production ramped up immediately, with every available manufacturing facility converted to produce components for Sunfall devices. These weren't just defensive weapons, they were the spearhead of humanity's counterattack. 12 days after the massacre of Earth's diplomats, the UES Vigilant led a fleet of 30 ships toward the Vexori vessel still orbiting Earth. Each ship carried multiple Sunfall devices, ready to deploy. Miranda stood on the bridge, her gaze fixed on the alien Leviathan growing larger on the view screen. For the 12, she said quietly, a sentiment echoed throughout the fleet. The Vexori detected the approaching armada and powered up their weapon systems. But this time, humanity struck first. Dozens of Sunfall devices activated simultaneously, bathing the alien vessel in precisely modulated radiation. The effect was immediate and devastating. The massive ship seemed to seize up, its outer hull crackling with uncontrolled energy discharges. Internal explosions lit up sections of the vessel, the chidnus plates cracking apart like an egg. "Continue the assault," Miranda ordered, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her. "Don't let up until that thing is space dust." The combined firepower of Earth's fleet, now unhindered by the Vexori's defensive systems, tore through the alien vessel. Within 20 minutes, the ship that had brought terror to Earth was nothing more than expanding debris. But Miranda knew this was just the beginning. The Vexori had killed 12 humans. Now humanity would show them exactly what that mistake would cost them. As the fleet regrouped, preparing to take the fight to the other Vexori ships in the system, a new transmission came through. Unlike the cold precision of previous messages, this one seemed frantic, almost desperate. "Cease hostilities," the alien voice demanded. "We will negotiate terms." Miranda's response was brief. "No, you already had that chance. The first phase of humanity's counterattack had begun, and it would not stop until justice was served." Part 2. Humanity's Vengeance. 1 month after the massacre of Earth's diplomats, humanity's counteroffensive was in full swing. The Sunfall devices had proven more effective than anyone could have anticipated, giving Earth's forces an edge that compensated for the Vexori's technological superiority. The 3 alien ships that had been mining our solar system were destroyed within the first week of operations. Each victory boosted morale and provided valuable intelligence about Vexori technology and tactics. But the real prize came when the Vigilance team captured a partially intact data core from one of the destroyed vessels. After days of decryption, they discovered the location of the Vexori homeworld, and more importantly, the scope of their territorial ambitions. "They've done this before," Dr. Kapoor explained during the briefing, his normally composed demeanor shaken. "The data shows at least 7 other species they've encountered. In each case, they followed the same pattern: initial contact, assessment, and then either subjugation or extermination." "And what was their assessment of us?" Miranda asked, though she already knew the answer. "Insufficient," he confirmed. "We were marked for harvesting, our resources taken, our people either eliminated or used as labor." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. The 12 diplomats hadn't been killed out of malice or misunderstanding. Their deaths had been a calculated message, the opening move in what the Vexori considered a routine conquest. General Santos, the newly appointed commander of Earth's unified defense forces, broke the silence. "Then we need to send our own message. Captain Chen, you'll lead the first strike force into Vexori space. Your mission is to deploy sunfall devices at these key strategic locations." He indicated several points on the star map. Dr. Kapoor has identified these as their primary military installations. Miranda nodded, her expression grim. "And after that?" The general's eyes were steel. "After that, we take the fight to their homeworld." The UES Vigilant, now upgraded with hybrid technology combining human innovation with reverse-engineered Vexori systems, led a fleet of 60 warships through the first alien jump point. The journey took 3 weeks, during which Miranda prepared her crew for what would likely be the most significant military operation in human history. Their first target was a Vexori military outpost orbiting a gas giant in a binary star system. Intelligence suggested it housed a garrison of approximately 5,000 alien soldiers and support staff. "Remember," Miranda addressed her crew as they approached, "these are the same beings who murdered our diplomats without provocation, who plan to exterminate or enslave our entire species. Today, we ensure they understand the cost of that decision." The battle was swift and decisive. The sunfall devices crippled the outpost's defenses, allowing Earth's forces to neutralize resistance with minimal casualties. As Miranda had ordered, they took prisoners, the first Vexori to be captured alive since first contact. Interrogation revealed a species fundamentally different from humanity, not just in biology, but in outlook. The Vexori operated on a strict hierarchical system, with little concept of individual rights or diplomacy as humans understood it. Their society valued efficiency above all else, and their expansion across the stars was driven by a cold calculation of resource acquisition. "They don't hate us," Dr. Kapoor concluded after studying the interrogation transcripts. "They simply don't see us as equals. To them, we're just another resource to be harvested." This understanding didn't lessen humanity's resolve. If anything, it strengthened it. Over the next 3 months, Earth's forces struck deeper into Vexori territory, deploying sunfall devices against military installations, shipyards, and command centers. The aliens, confronted with a vulnerability they had never anticipated, struggled to adapt. Their attempts to modify their systems to resist the targeted radiation proved only partially successful, and each engagement cost them dearly in ships, resources, and personnel. The toll was staggering. Intelligence estimates placed Vexori casualties in the hundreds of thousands, then millions, as Earth's campaign progressed. Entire garrison worlds fell silent as sunfall devices rendered their technology useless, leaving the alien soldiers stranded and vulnerable. 6 months into the war, the Vigilant led the assault on the Vexori homeworld, a ringed planet orbiting a blue-white star. its surface covered in sprawling metropolitan complexes that gleamed like obsidian under the alien sun. "This is it," Miranda told her crew as they prepared for the final push. "Today we end this war." The Vexori had concentrated their remaining forces to defend their homeworld, creating a formidable defensive perimeter. But Earth's fleet, now numbering over 200 vessels, had the advantage of experience and the desperation that comes from fighting for survival. The battle lasted 3 days. 3 days of continuous combat, of ships burning in the void, of desperate tactics and heroic sacrifices. Miranda's Vigilant took heavy damage but remained operational, directing the deployment of specially modified sunfall devices designed to target the planetary defense grid. When the grid finally collapsed, Miranda led the ground assault herself, commanding a mixed force of human marines and combat drones. They fought their way through the alien capital, facing resistance that grew increasingly disorganized as the Vexori command structure crumbled. In the central administrative complex, Miranda finally came face to face with the Vexori High Command. 7 tall, spindly figures seated around a crystalline table that mirrored the one where Earth's diplomats had been slaughtered. "You have miscalculated," one of them said, its voice a cold, mechanical simulation of human speech. "This conflict was unnecessary. We would have permitted some of your kind to survive." Miranda's laugh was bitter. "That's where you're wrong. We're not fighting for permission to survive. We're fighting because you killed our people, threatened our home, and thought we would just accept it." She activated her tactical display, showing the status of Earth's forces across Vexori space. Dozens of worlds under human control, millions of aliens either dead or captured, an empire brought to its knees in just 6 months. 12, she said. "That's how many of us you killed when you could have chosen peace. Remember that number, because for each one, we've taken at least 1 million of yours." The terms of surrender were non-negotiable. The Vexori would withdraw from all contested territories, dismantle their military capabilities, and submit to oversight by a coalition of human authorities and representatives from other species who had suffered under their expansionism. As news of victory spread throughout human space, celebrations erupted on Earth and its colonies. Humanity had faced its first interstellar threat, and not only survived but triumphed decisively. Yet for Miranda Chen, standing on the observation deck of the Vigilant as it prepared for the journey home, victory brought little joy. She thought of the 12 diplomats whose lives had been cut short, of the countless others, human and alien, who had died in the conflict that followed. "Was it worth it?" Dr. Kapoor asked, joining her at the viewport. "All this death, all this destruction." Miranda watched as the Vexori homeworld receded in the distance, its once gleaming cities now dark under the enforced technology restrictions. "They gave us no choice," she said finally. "But that doesn't mean we should celebrate what we've had to become." In the months that followed, humanity faced the challenge of transition, from a species fighting for survival to one responsible for overseeing the rehabilitation of a defeated enemy. It was a delicate balance, maintaining vigilance while working toward a future where such conflicts might be avoided. The 12 diplomats who had died trying to forge peace became symbols not just of Vexori treachery, but of humanity's aspiration for something better than endless war. Memorial parks were established on Earth and every colony world, each featuring 12 trees surrounding a central pool of reflection. And in orbit around the Vexori homeworld, a permanent station was established, named Diplomat's Watch, to ensure that the lessons of the conflict would not be forgotten by either species. The universe had learned a crucial lesson. Humanity would not go quietly into the night. When threatened, when pushed, when its hand was forced, it would fight with a ferocity and ingenuity that could bring even the most advanced civilizations to their knees. 12 humans had died at the beginning of this story. Millions of Vexori had died before its end. And throughout the galaxy, watching species took note. In this vast, often hostile universe, humanity had proven itself a force to be reckoned with. Not because we were the strongest or the most advanced, but because when faced with extinction, we refused to accept it as inevitable. We fought back. We survived. And in doing so, we changed the course of galactic history forever.